Hi, Henny, how are you? Welcome back to the channel, or if you're new here, I'm Teknikolour. Thanks to The Sims, I was provided with early access for the new Royalty and Legacy Grand Bundle. I've been streaming it on Twitch while playing with it, and I thought I could use this speed build as an opportunity to share my thoughts on the new expansion pack, as well as the two kits that come in this bundle. Before I jump into my thoughts on the new expansion pack, I figured I should at least give you some context about this particular build and what I was trying to accomplish with it. I wanted to only show off items from Royalty and Legacy, so this build is intentionally limited to just base game and this new expansion pack, nothing else. We're also building in the brand new world of Ondarian, and in what I currently believe is my favorite neighborhood within that world, Vertimar. The lot itself is called Fisherman's Hut and is a 20 by 20 lot, but I replaced that humble hut with an objectively more grand and impressive 3-story, 2-bedroom home that I think showcases what this pack has to offer. I chose this specific lot over the actual empty lot that exists in this neighborhood because, and I'm gonna be completely honest here, I wanted a quick build that would allow me to test out the build buy offerings of the pack without spending too much time on construction. So a 20 by 20 lot is what I decided on. This is, of course, after I somehow became confused about how many videos I'd actually need between our last speed build and this one. So I ended up spending 2 entire days working on one build as a lead up to this one, when I should have just been working on this one from the beginning. Don't even ask how that happened. I honestly have no clue whatsoever. But I worked on this specific build this past Sunday. The Sims provided me with early access to the bundle on Friday, so this was only my 3rd day with Royalty and Legacy as a whole. And of course, because I'm me and I can't help myself, part of that limited time was actually spent working on that completely different build in Windenburg instead of focusing on Ondarian. Anyway, let me get into my honest thoughts on the Royalty and Legacy Grand Bundle, which releases tomorrow, February 12th. This bundle includes the brand new Royalty and Legacy expansion pack and 2 new kits, the Tea Time Solarium kit and the Silver Screen Style kit. Plus, if you purchase the bundle through March 15th, you'll also receive the Regal Treasures digital content as a bonus, which adds 3 extra exclusive items that you can't get anywhere else. A Crown of Leaves and Sparkles, the Enemies to Lovers practice dummy, and the Under the Stars lantern. Of course, I will not really get into my thoughts on these exclusive pre-order bonuses because, I don't know, I don't love that you could just miss out because there's packs that I joined The Sims 4 after and I missed out, so do with that as you will. I'll go over what I think about each of the kits later on in the video, but for now, let's just focus exclusively on the expansion pack itself. Royalty and Legacy very much feels like a pack that was custom made specifically for me, if I'm being completely honest. The new roof texture is perfect for a seaside town, with a range of swatches showing wear and age. The wallpapers and flooring are beautiful. The kitchen set is nice and versatile while not feeling too expensive. The world itself, I do love a coastal world, and each of the regions of Ondarian are just absolutely stunning. I'm not even particularly interested in royalty, dynasties, or anything like that, just as a general concept or theme. But I am a huge fan of Disney's Little Mermaid, and always have been taken with that seaside or coastal environment. Yes, I know that we already received a nod to Copenhagen's The Little Mermaid statue with the Nordic-inspired Businesses and Hobbies pack that came out previously, but to me, The Little Mermaid and The Sims will weirdly always go hand in hand in a very personal way. That's because my first real introduction to gameplay in The Sims 4 was by playing a legacy challenge I'd created that was loosely based on the Disney animated classic, The Little Mermaid. My early days of simming were spent entirely around royalty and mermaids. And while I spent the majority of the legacy living underwater in King Triton's castle in Sulani, the latter portion of that challenge was above ground in Prince Eric's castle, which was a completely different vibe. My boyfriend actually built Prince Eric's castle from scratch for me and practically demanded to do so. And while I did have a few packs at the time to work with, and Sulani itself is a beautiful world with gorgeous scenery, Royalty and Legacy's Ondarian blows it completely out of the water in terms of aesthetics, themed towards Prince Eric's kingdom. Pun absolutely intended. There's three distinct neighborhoods or regions to Ondarian that each have their own unique vibe: Dambele, Verdamar, and Bellecourt. The areas surrounding the lots in these regions are built out so beautifully and with such attention to detail that Ondarian feels very expansive and lively compared to some of the other worlds in The Sims 4 that can sometimes feel a bit hollow. Which makes sense given that Ondarian is one of our bigger worlds at a total of 16 lots available to play with. It also is yet another world to include apartments, though each of those apartment buildings only has 2 playable units each. It's not like we have a random skyscraper here. Dambele is a Western African-inspired area and feels like a bright and friendly desert locale with warm tones throughout. It is home to the Durong family palace, other residential lots, including one of the aforementioned apartment buildings, as well as a market and a back room lot, the latter of which actually changes function between day and night, which is a new feature of this pack. The other 2 areas, Verdamar and Bellecourt, feel very Mediterranean in style and architecture and seem to have more distinct lore and backstory to them, while Dambele seems to be a flourishing, creative, communal space that's all about expression and community. Bellecourt is beautiful and romantic and sort of represents that sort of old world royal legacy that's been passed down through generations. If Bellecourt represents romance in the deepest way possible, it also represents wealth and chivalry, and scandal in equal measure. Don't get me wrong, scandal can be found everywhere in Ondarian if you look hard enough, but it feels like, well, if America runs on Duncan, then Bellecourt definitely runs on scandal and gossip. Bellecourt has a few notable families or dynasties, but the Cap family resides in the palace. There's also more residences, including our second apartment building in the world, a lounge for your Sims to socialize, and an empty lot for whatever you dream up. The last neighborhood, Verdamar, is my personal favorite, and it, similarly to Bellecourt, leans into its history and lore in a meaningful way. It apparently is a marriage of nobility and piracy, which is obviously an interesting combination, and while at surface level, it may not come across as a land of adventure, outcasts, and potentially even danger, its past definitely has that vibe if you dig into it. I personally like the mixture between the lives of pirates and nobles living side by side, and I truly love how seaside this section of the entire kingdom of Ondarian is compared to the other areas. As I mentioned earlier, I am a huge fan of The Little Mermaid, and Verdamar could definitely be home to Prince Eric's castle. It has that exact aesthetic and feel. Verdamar, like the others, is home to other dynasties with their own stories, while the palace is home to the Thebes family. Additionally, there's a bar for nightlife and an empty lot for you to build on. Something that I think is interesting that The Sims seems to be moving towards as a general trend is releasing packs with less empty lots included. I see myself primarily as a builder first and foremost, so I think it matters less to me how many empty lots there are because I'm likely going to bulldoze and build something of my own, regardless of what's already there. I do wonder how those who prioritize gameplay over building feel about this trend, though. I have heard other simmers say that they wish that there were 0 empty lots, so they can just jump in and play. And on the opposite side, there's those who want a bit more empty lots for creative freedom. Ondarian has a really good number of lots in total when you add everything up, though, so I'm glad that there's a good mixture between residential and community lots to give us variety. Moving on to build by items and what this pack offers, I'm pleasantly surprised by the offerings. While some of the items are definitely more themed towards royalty, it is a royalty themed pack after all. That makes sense. I do think that there's real value to this pack outside of that specific theme. As an example, it might be hard to use the wallpapers and some of the furniture from Get Famous in builds that aren't focused on the rich and famous. However, I do think that this pack seems to offer more than just items tailored exclusively to that royalty theme, which makes it more versatile. Plus, royalty looks different across this world's 3 regions, which makes the build styles more varied and therefore usable outside of this pack in different contexts. I do know that as a builder who pays attention to detail, some items truly stuck out to me as game changers, and they definitely stuck out to the other builders in my chat while streaming the new pack on Twitch this weekend. For instance, there's a new tileable item you can place on flat surfaces that has openings in it, making it perfect for awnings or other covered areas where you want some visual interest. Similar to that crystal clear tile from Island Living, just probably less ideal for walking on since it has those gaps. My least favorite aspect of the pack overall is Create a Sims clothing options. This shouldn't be super surprising, since I'm not much of a Kaz person to begin with, but I was disappointed in some of the textures and overall fits of the outfits that were included. I'm probably not the best person to gauge if you should buy an expansion pack solely for the Kaz offerings it provides, though, so take my opinion for whatever it's worth. Still, I do love the colors and patterns throughout the clothing and was pleased to find additions for other age groups beyond just young adults. Could you use these outfits in your saves where you aren't really focused on royalty or nobility? I don't know. Some of them, for sure, but I don't know that there's a wide range of outfits that this pack serves beyond formal occasions. There's formal wear, sleepwear, maybe some swimwear that could work, but it doesn't come across as a pack that has a wide variety of clothing options for your general, everyday sim. Gameplay, however, has been quite fun and engaging for me so far in my limited time with it. In fairness, I haven't had the opportunity to do hours and hours of gameplay to really test everything thoroughly, but from what I have experienced, it's been very fun and intriguing. There's a few spaces in each of the regions that also add something a bit extra that I felt like wasn't promoted a ton in the trailers or other promo material leading up to the release. And those have been exciting to discover and play through. I will admit that I was a little bit confused between the new nobility career and the dynasties feature, and how they interact with each other. For the career, it seems like that is the royalty aspect of the pack, which felt a little odd to me at first. There are 3 different ways that you can enter the noble career path, and many ways that you can progress throughout the career once you're in it. Though it seems there can only be one ruler of a kingdom, or a world, at a time. So while we have many different dynasties with nobles throughout Ondarian, Ondarian currently has no ruler. Dynasties, on the other hand, seem to represent the legacy aspect of the pack and family lineage. So you may not really want to deal with nobility and kingdoms as part of your save file, but you can still have a dynasty and build a family legacy using the new features. Interestingly, for new saves that you start, both the Goth family and the Landgrabs will have dynasties already established. So, to be clear, any family, regardless of royalty status, can become a dynasty. While the overall system seems similar to get-togethers clubs in some ways, it's my understanding that dynasties are restricted to one family and blood relatives. In the case of marriage or children between 2 different dynasties, I believe that you make the decision as the player to either merge the dynasties together into one, create a new one based on the existing ones, or move the sim into another dynasty entirely. It seems like Sims cannot be in two dynasties at once. However, you do have the option to have alliances and rivalries with other dynasties. So I suppose it would be possible to have Sims who are married, but belong to their own individual dynasties and navigate that dynamic. In my own gameplay so far, I created a brand new dynasty for my Sim and entered her into the noble career path. Plus, I'd given her the new aspiration that comes with the pack, Social Puppeteer. She has been progressing well in both her career and her aspiration goals, but her dynasty is interesting. I think because the main point of the dynasty feature isn't tied directly to royalty, the career, it's more tied to family and legacy building. It's just her right now. And in my save, she's only just gotten married and pregnant with her first child. So the only other person in her dynasty currently is her husband. Our prestige level in our dynasty has gone up a level and then gone down a level, but never higher than that. Interestingly, the perks that you can unlock as your prestige level rises are lost when that prestige decreases, which can be frustrating. So my poor Sim has simply unlocked perks and then lost them almost as quickly as she has unlocked them, which feels a tiny bit discouraging. I assume that if I were to use the Dynasty system in my Legacy Challenge save, I'd have a completely different experience with more depth. In that save, we're on Generation 9, and our Generation 10 Sim is almost a teenager now. But that Gen 9 Sim, my current heir, has two siblings with their own spouses and children. He also has a great, maybe one more great? I've lost track at this point. Grandmother, who is immortal and still kicking it around Brindleton Bay. So there's definitely other Sims who could be part of the dynasty and be impacting it in positive or negative ways. Despite the fact that I've been somewhat confused about the difference between nobility and dynasties while playing through the pack so far, I've been enjoying everything about it overall. There's other new features like swordsmanship as a skill, scandals which have different degrees of severity and can be extorted for gain. There's a royal robber who shows up, noble frogs that you can kiss and collect. There's definitely a lot that you can explore and discover with royalty and legacy if you give it time. This expansion pack, as I said earlier, was released as a bundle along with two new kits that complement the theme. The Silver Screen Style kit and the Tea Time Solarium kit. The first kit, Silver Screen Style, is a Kaz kit and it definitely fills that category well, and also acts as a nice companion to Royalty and Legacy's Create-A-Sim offerings. However, I think that, like the expansion pack's offerings, some, not all, of the items have weird texture and fitting issues. The clothing in this pack is definitely a bit more old-timey. While some of it can be used for more modern Sims, you'll either be using this for storytelling purposes through fashion or simply for your elder Sims. It's nice because this kit could fit in well for a murder mystery or a story about a detective, or maybe even an actual silver screen movie for your actor Sims. Again, I'm probably not the best person to sell a Kaz kit to you, but I completely understand why this one, like the next kit, was bundled in with this expansion pack. I knew that the other kit, the Tea Time Solarium kit, was going to be a build kit that I'd enjoy, but I did not expect to enjoy the items in it quite as much as I do. I'm also a big fan of the genuinely funny flavor text that The Sims adds to their item descriptions, and the ones for this kit are no exception. I somehow missed this while looking at the screenshots we saw when they announced this bundle, but this kit also includes windows, doors, and a new glass roof style. I sort of understand why this kit was included in the bundle. It definitely leans into the scandal and spill the tea theme. Still, this would work perfectly for so many builds because the items can be used elsewhere. The doors, windows, and matching columns also could be used not as part of a solarium, but elsewhere in a build. The outdoor furniture would pair nicely with a beautiful garden, and I'm telling you right now, this is absolutely making me want to build Jessica Fletcher's home in Maine with her flourishing garden. That's a Murder, She Wrote reference, if that went over your head. And if it did go over your head, I mean, you have homework. Go watch an episode or two of Murder, She Wrote and let me know your thoughts in the comments of my next video. I'm not even joking. I will be looking for y'all in the comment section. But anyway, I should probably start wrapping this little review up and give you my overall final thoughts on this grand bundle. Is this pack and the bundle in general worth your hard-earned money? I think it might be. Yes, I'll admit, I'm not going to be playing with royalty in every single save of mine, and I might not be building castles all the time, but I most definitely play with families in my saves, where dynasties would make things very interesting. And you know for sure that I'm going to be building in Ondarian. The world also feels like it could almost be an extension of my wedding stories world, Tartosa, in ways, which Tartosa is also beautiful, and I've been really zoned in on lately because it's where my current legacy generation is living. I will also mention that in addition to The Sims providing me with early access, which I'll still be checking out over on my Twitch channel the next few days, they also gave me a code to give away for the entire bundle. So if you're interested, I'll be running that giveaway over on my Twitch channel tomorrow morning, leading up to the Grand Bundle's official release. I might also be doing more building if you're interested in seeing this happen live. Unfortunately, you might be watching this after the official launch of the Grand Bundle and may have missed out on the early access streams and even the giveaway. If that's the case, I'm sorry. But luckily, I'll be uploading the VODs from this week soon to my second YouTube channel, which I'll link down below in case you want to see my full reactions to playing with the pack and kits. Plus, you may have heard me mention this in previous speed builds. I have a creator code that you can use when checking out on the EA app. I'm not paid to play The Sims, and I wasn't paid to play with this bundle early or make this review. But I do earn a small commission from EA whenever my creator code is used. I have extremely cool news about my code too. They have indefinitely extended the discount that you receive when using my code. That means that anytime you use my code Teknikolour when purchasing Sims 4 packs on the EA app or at thesims.com, you'll not only be supporting me and my content, which I am very grateful for, but you'll also be snagging a 5% discount. But since that's basically the entire speed build, let me just open the game and give you a tour of this build since we legitimately barely talked about it during this video. I'm sorry. Okay, so we're in the game now, and this is the build that I came up with and is very clearly no longer hot. But this is what I decided to build using as much as I could from the new expansion pack. So again, this doesn't use any of the 2 kits that come with the bundle, but it just uses the expansion pack and base game. I had so much trouble with stairs, which if you missed it, there was a base game update where now we can do stairs like this, where like it's kind of rounded and stuff. And you can also adjust your railings. There's a lot to discover, which I'll probably talk about more in another video. But I was struggling. I basically put down this staircase and was like, okay, perfect. But then I needed another staircase to get from the 2nd to the 3rd floor. And that took us a while. And then for some reason, I was like, oh, I've got it. I'll just put the stairs out here in the back. Those don't help you get to the 3rd floor. Just to give you how much of an idea of what I was going through while I was trying to do this build after accidentally working on another for that long. There's not really room for a ballroom, so I did build one upstairs. Spoiler alert. Over here is the living room. Then we've got the dining room over here, and we have the kitchen and bathroom over on this side. You can get upstairs, and there is this beautiful balcony, which has this outdoor access. But then in here on the interior is that grand ballroom. So there's a place to dance, there's music, there's a bar. So this is kind of like for entertaining purposes. And then these two staircases will get you to the third floor. And that is where the bedrooms are. So I have the primary bedroom over here, and then I have a bedroom for two kids over here. And then each of them has their own bathroom. And that is basically the entire build. If you enjoyed this video, please drop me a like and then grab the build off of the gallery. To add it to your game, you can find it using my EA ID, Teknikolour. If you'd like to see more of my builds and other cozy gaming videos, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you won't miss out on future uploads. If you want even more Sims content, consider dropping me a follow over on Twitch. I livestream my pack-based legacy challenge every Thursday, play other cozy games throughout the week, and we'll still be checking out and giving away a copy of this new bundle, thanks to The Sims. Planning on picking up Royalty and Legacy or any other packs? Please use my creator code, Teknikolour, when checking out on the EA app. It's free for you and supports the channel. Plus, my code can now be used on so many other EA titles, not just The Sims, though that discount only applies for Sims 4 packs. But thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye!